Hello and welcome. You're watching Tech 24. I'm Julia Seeger. In this edition, we'll look at the different ways in which technology is helping to fight corruption. From softwares to apps to Twitter accounts, there are many tech initiatives out there that include tracking MPs' expenses or following the moves of authoritarian regimes. Plus, in Test 24, we'll try K-Ryle, an electric self-propelled trailer that is revolutionizing goods transport by using a bicycle. All over the world, citizens are increasingly using new technology to shed light on fraud and bribery and blow the whistle on corrupt practices. In Brazil, a young startup has come up with Rosie. Equipped with AI and machine learning, this bot keeps track of MPs' expenses and finds irregularities. It can also adjust parameters on its own, as our reporters explain.
In a co-working space in Sao Paulo, the economic capital of Brazil, we have a rendezvous with Jessica and her friend Rosie, a digital investigator.
That's Rosie, that black screen. She downloads all the data concerning the reimbursed expenses of the members of parliament and analyses each claim.
Jessica was involved in the development of this truly unique software, a sort of lie detector for civil servants.
If the expense seems strange, she flags it as suspect and that it merits investigation. For example, here I have 13 meals in different towns on the same day for this deputy.
In less than a year, 1,000 denunciations have been sent to Parliament. Over 100 billion euros may have been embezzled. Although Rosie has no legal weight, the information published online on social networks are a persuasive weapon and encourages some people to reimburse.
Victor Lippi, for example, apologized and said that it wouldn't happen again. We hope that we will not see his name again anytime soon.
The programme is available to all, and for Alessandro Molon, the MP for Rio and an internet specialist, it is a salutary way for the populace to exert pressure.
We need a cultural change so that the Brazilian politicians understand that the Brazilian people will be holding them to account more and more, and expecting exemplary behavior from them.
Although Brazil is a champion in this field, parliamentary fraud is a problem elsewhere. Felipe Cabral, Rosie's co-creator, is currently in Italy, where he hopes to revolutionize the world of European politics.
The French could use it too, and in the future we'd even be able to analyse laws by cross-referencing the dates of lobbyist visits and laws passed.
He's hoping, over the next 3 years, to turn Rosie into an infallible weapon against corruption. He needs to hurry. Brazilian politics is rife with scandal and in great need of it.
Two journalists from Switzerland have created an automated system to track planes used by authoritarian regimes flying in and out of Geneva's international airport. Ultimately, the goal is to help provide evidence of money laundering, but also to bring transparency and accountability to the leaders. Well, I'm now joined by the founder of this Twitter bot called GVA Dictator Alert. François Pilet, thank you so much for joining us here on Tech 24. So first, before we talk about the system that you've created, tell us, why did you decide to start this Twitter bot?
Well, as a journalist in Switzerland, I've been using those tools that are available to track planes. I've been using this to track authoritarian regimes from all over the world coming to Geneva. But I just did it when the idea came to my mind when I was doing a particular investigation. At some point, I thought it would be really useful to have a permanent surveillance of those movements and to track them all automatically. That was the idea.
And so how does it work? How is this system automatic, for instance, and how did you manage to create a legal frame for it?
Well, you have to know that every plane in the world is sending small radio signals every couple of seconds. Those radio signals just give the identity of the aircraft, its position, its speed, and so forth. These messages are sent on a public radio frequency. So for for 100 euros, you can buy a small antenna and you can collect those small signals. So it's a public radio wave, and you are free to collect this data and to analyze it. And that's what we used to track those particular planes coming to Geneva.
And now this GVA dictator alert has helped track dictators as listed by the 2015 Democracy Index. The latest example is the vice president of Equatorial Guinea. Tell us more about what happened there.
Yes, we launched the bot, the Twitter bot, in April 2016. And the first real surprise was to see how often this person, Théodorine Obiang, was coming to Geneva. He was there all the time. Every week, almost, he was coming to Geneva. So it was the start for us to do an investigation about this. And with the time and the attention that this Twitter bot attracted, it attracted attention on Théodorine Obiang in Geneva. And a few months after we started tracking his movements, the prosecutors in Geneva opened an investigation, and we were able to find the luxury cars that he was trying to evade from Switzerland. He was trying to get out of Switzerland with his own private planes. And those luxury cars were seized, and the Swiss justice opened an investigation for corruption against him.
Well, thank you so much. That was François Pilet, the founder of the GVA Dictator Alert. Well, it's time to welcome on set our in-house expert, Dan and Jay Kattulkar. Hello and welcome, Dan.
Hello, Julia.
Speaking of transparency initiatives, there's one in particular that caught your attention in Nigeria.
That's right. The aim of this online collaborative tool called Tracker is to make information related to public expenditure accessible to all. And secondly, it also aims at accounting for projects which are funded but which haven't taken off the ground yet. So that is also very important to note. Now, this project was initiated 3 years ago, and the concept is quite simple. The interface is very simple. So what happens is all these projects, whether it's road construction, whether it's school buildings, or whether it's installation of solar panels, they are listed on this tool, the Tracker tool. And then the interface consists of a map, and on that map are located these different projects. Now, people living in the localities where these projects are being implemented, or either close to these areas, they can take pictures, they can take videos, or they can post comments about the kind of work that is being implemented.
So it's a collaborative tool.
Absolutely, it's a collaborative check. So with many people commenting about a certain project, there's a greater transparency, and there are more sources of information. So you can really track the progress of the project that has been allocated. I mean, the budgetary approvals are also accessible to people. So yeah, it's a collective check on the government projects.
And now in Ukraine, there's a startup that's revolutionizing the public procurement system.
That's right. It's called ProZoro, and it's an e-public procurement platform. So what they do is they are trying to make, or they have made the tendering process as transparent as possible. So which means that people have access to information about the tender process that includes the supplier's offers, and this information can be accessed 24/7. Now, the project, through this project, tens of thousands of tenders have been awarded by public agency, by government agencies. And this has really created a major reform in procurement process in Ukraine. Earlier, this particular platform used to be hosted by a private organization, but now it's been run by the state. So you can imagine the popularity and the efficiency of this project.
Thank you so much, Dan. It's time for Test 24. Summer holiday about to start, and for all the cycling enthusiasts who want to go on a road trip, we have just what you need. It's called Carriole, and it's an electric self-propelled carriage, Dan.
That's right. With this particular device, you can carry, I think, all your belongings once you are on a road trip. And then maybe if you have a second thought of not coming back, you will still survive for a long period of time. So this essentially is an electric self-propelled trailer. So what it means is that even when you're cycling, for example, and then you have this massive load, this can carry 200 kilograms of load, you don't feel any effort. So how is it done? It is done because of two force sensors which are located just at the tip of this trailer. Now they detect the force that is applied, or they measure the force between the bicycle and the trailer. And if there's any difference, then the onboard computer, it automatically adjusts that force, and then it makes the two electric motors, it provides the subsequent power to two electric motors.
So you don't feel any weight.
Exactly. Even if you're climbing a slope, you feel that there's no weight behind you. So that's because of this onboard computer that does all the adjustments.
And now we've seen many innovative ways of using solar energy, but there's a gadget that we have here that's very special. Tell us more about it.
Well, this, as you can see, is a flexible solar panel. These solar panels are mounted on top of a balloon. Now, this balloon is made by the Zephyr Solar Balloon, that's the company. This is especially useful in disaster-stricken areas. So it is essentially a power generator which is connected to this balloon, which is inflated using helium. Then the balloon goes and reaches a certain height. And using the solar panels on top of that balloon, it is able to harness the solar energy, which is then sent through the cables to the generator, which has batteries, and then these batteries get charged, and using that generator you can light up homes for example, in areas where there's no electricity. So this is a pretty useful device in that regard.
And it's a prototype. When is it expected to hit the market?
It's a prototype now. By the end of the year, it should be on the market.
Thank you so much, Dan. Well, that brings us to the end of this week's edition of Tech 24, but do stay with us here on France 24.
Not bad.